10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 in the Special 3 series, the play-in series, if you will, the replacement match for complexity between Power of Friendship and Team Freedom, POF. Nice little victory there, and the last one on the back of the Spectre, coming back into the fray, winning a couple of team fights, even snagging an Aegis of Team Freedom. So yeah, Team Freedom now, they have to make something different work now. They have to try and tie up the series if they want to play in a WePlay League Season 3. My name is Dragondrop, bringing this match alongside not only Lurkadok on stats, but also Danley from Down Under joining us here as the co-caster. How are you doing, Danley?
Pretty good. We are at 6:30 in the morning, so on a route to having a very, very late sleep. That's fine though. Game 2. Obviously, if you're down a series, you're going to pull out all the stops to push it to a game 3, and Abaddon first pick for Freedom. So, seems like this hero for them, they say, okay, pull out the big guns, let's pull out the Abaddon.
Yeah, it's been banned out in the second phase last time around, so this time around they just say, alright, to pick it up ourselves, maybe look it up, can find us some stats on Abaddon on this particular team, if they're out there, so we have an idea of how good they are with that hero, because it's not exactly run of the mill, right? It's more of a very team specific pick these days.
Very niche oriented pick. Like there's not many drafts that really cater to an Abaddon pick. Like there's very few drafts that centered around the supports. Most of the time you cater towards the carries, but Abaddon is that special case where be support you sort of have to draft around the Abaddon.
Is it a support though? I mean,
in most situations, I've only seen support Abaddon. I don't think I've ever seen a core. Or did I ever see a core Abaddon? I can't help but feel like I may have seen it once from Alliance, and it was probably Loader that ran it. Yeah. I'm not too sure, but this would have been a very long time ago. Like we just haven't seen Abaddon since.
Well, that is true. So mostly it's gonna be the support. Maybe even though in the duo offlane, so it's a little bit of a different kind of setup, so can't we think about the lane support, or it's that aggressive kind of...
Yeah, we could possibly see the old school Weaver Abaddon dual lane. That used to be a thing. I don't think it's going to be a Weaver, but that's just like a sort of a step back in time to remember what heroes are really capable of sort of doing with the Abaddon. But,
I see what you did there. Yeah. Step back in time, Weaver, time that. Yeah, I know.
I didn't actually weave it like that, but you know, if you want to go in that direction, that's fine.
Team pick.
Well, the Vengeful Spirit being picked up by Power of Friendship, so another one of these cases where you think, alright, mostly it's gonna be the support, but it can also be run as a core. Haven't really seen that in any scene outside of the CS region though. So that'll most likely be that support bench looking to scale up everyone else later down the line. And Invoker is one of these heroes that can benefit so much from that vengeance aura later down the line, up to a point where if you combo that up with perhaps even a draw range on top of that, you do so much damage that you wouldn't necessarily expect, rather early in the game. And this can catch you off guard. I mean, of course you know that the auras are there, that they can have a huge impact, but still, there are times when you play up against it and when you're like, alright, there's just two heroes, I'm a tanky whatever, I'm a tanky Abaddon, I'll be fine. You just get right-clicked down so hard, there's no coming back. But, well, Team Freedom to pick up the Zeus, so that could also be support, but most likely gonna be the middle lane. Up against the Invoker, he can kind of stay back and arc lightning for CS if necessary. And outside of that, I don't really foresee him having a really good lane up against this Invoker.
I'm rather curious, does Invoker consider going Quas Wex this game? Because obviously the EMP is going to be a huge factor versus the Abaddon and the Zeus. Like both of these heroes need their mana pool. If an Abaddon doesn't have mana, this hero does absolutely nothing. So I'm curious, does the Invoker still want to go for the Exalt build, or does he want to change it up and go for Quas Wex? It's up to him. I'm going to have to wait and see what the final draft here is for Team Freedom as well as Power of Friendship. But it looks like for now, Team Freedom are trying to get rid of strong mid-game heroes that could also pick up Mechanism.
Remaining.
It's curious that they banned out the Razor there. Of course, it's not unheard of that
Radiant team banned.
that there's a safe lane razor to go with the invoker.
I'm rather curious. Are Team Freedom looking to pick a melee hero that's easily kited? That's one of the other reasons why you'd ban out a
10
Razor. Like, if
seconds
you're
remaining.
trying to play a melee hero that gets easily kited, then obviously Razor's going to
5
be a
seconds
great
remaining.
hero in playing up against that. So, like, Ursa and Sven have those problems. Like, maybe Team Freedom want to try and play Ursa or Sven.
Reserve time.
Don't think so, but something like
Well,
that.
it's definitely out there, right? If you want to make a strat around that, but I feel like with the Zeus and Abaddon already picked up, they have little control to really help out the Sven and the Ursa to do the damage. I mean, it's one thing to
Dire
not get your
team banned.
damage drained from a Razor and not be kited like that, but if you don't have a setup, you have to do all the work yourself. It just puts you on the back foot unnecessarily, and there's plenty of other heroes
Dire
that
team pick.
just would function better because they bring more to the table themselves with what support you already have available. Like if you think about it, Baron, like Bristleback, for instance, would come to mind. Just adding that extra tankiness on top of the
Radiant
Euphoric Shield
team
makes it
pick.
making it very hard to deal with. We'll see what Team Freedom want to pick up, as the Chen is now the choice for Power of Friendship. That'll be a way too Sven? Way too Chen? Does he play that? I don't know.
I wouldn't know. You're asking the last person on the planet to know. So, still,
It's been a
so
long
you
time
got
for me as well
the.
since I casted these teams.
But not only do
10
you have the push
seconds
potential now
remaining.
from the Chen, but you also have some more auras to stack on top of the Vengeful Spirit aura
5
just because of the
seconds
creeps.
remaining.
So lots of auras going in the way of Power of Friendship.
Dire
Ember
team
Spirit is
pick.
going to be the third pickup for Team Freedom. Now, great thing about Ember Spirit is that he is an incredibly mobile hero, and if you don't have the lockdown to deal with an Ember Spirit, up right past the 20-minute mark, when he starts having some of those items, he does become a bit of a nuisance. Could be a problem with Power of Friendship if they don't have the lockdown to keep that Ember Spirit down. And it gets harder because there's an Abaddon on the field too. So you can't even rely on the CC
Yeah.
completely
10
to
seconds
shut down the
remaining.
Ember.
Problem that I see is that
5
Venge doesn't
seconds
provide
remaining.
too much lockdown, right? The stun is very short, and the swap is just an easy chance for Ember Spirit to
Reserve
just
time.
ram it out. But just a Chen, he can provide the lockdown if he has the proper creeps, but it's mostly the Invoker. Just the Tornado EMP. I mean, you talked about how Abaddon can't really do anything without mana. I guess it's true for most heroes anyway, but for the Ember Spirit, if he doesn't have mana, he's just straight up dead. Because he relies on being able to use Remnant to get out of trouble. And if he can't rely
Radiant
on that,
team pick.
that means that his supports just have to always stay behind him, and that just takes away resources to put to use somewhere else on the map otherwise. So
Mirana.
I don't really agree with
Ooh.
this pick, but maybe they have
Dire
something in
team
mind
back.
that I just can't see.
Mirana pickup for Team Freedom. Now, this is a hero that we very rarely see in the competitive field. The hero is very reliant on getting those arrows. Moonlight Shadow is also a great tool for the Mirana to use, but
10 seconds remaining.
why this Mirana for Team Freedom?
Five
I want to say it's for the
seconds
Chen.
remaining.
So you
Just to be
think
able
it's
to
just
arrow
to
out the
farm the
creeps.
Chen creeps?
Yeah. I mean, if you think
Reserve
about it,
time.
Chen's big early game impact is just being able to roam around with 1 or 2 creeps. So if you take one of those out instantly with the arrow, I mean, I can't really think of anything else because you don't really have a setup for it. You don't have a Bane to go with it. You're not gonna pick one up most likely. Actually, yeah, I guess they could. If they wanted to, or Bane or Shadow Demon, something like that.
Team Freedom doesn't have the best synergy with the Mirana, though. Like, that's my main problem with their draft. They've only got the Ember Spirit to set up for arrows with
Radiant
Searing
team
Chains.
back.
Like, obviously you can throw arrows out all over the place too, but you're not going to get guaranteed hits. So, we'll see if the Mirana pays off for Team Freedom. If farming the Chen creeps is going to be enough for the Mirana to accumulate enough farm. We'll have to see. It could
10
be that roaming
seconds
aggressive
remaining.
Mirana and just sort of play mind games with Power of Friendship, thinking that, oh, I have to be on,
5
I have to
seconds
consistently watch the
remaining.
map because there could be arrows flying my way. Because obviously, very, very early game, if you get hit with a
Reserve time.
5-second arrow, you could probably just drop on the spot. So, yeah, Mirana, mind games, farming Chen creeps. See what else they pull out of the bag. Final bans, though, is going to be the Lycan, Power of Friendship, and Team Freedom going to ban out the Darkseer. So,
Dire team
Power of Friendship
pick.
looking for their final offlane, whereas for Team Freedom, They either are looking for an off lane. Actually, they could look for all sorts of things depending on how they want to play this Abaddon. Because as you said, it could be a core Abaddon. Personally, I don't really think their draft suits a core Abaddon in this game. Like it sounds okay, but it just doesn't really feel like the game. Para Friendship final picks Slaughter, so synergy between Juggernaut, that's fine. Like there's nothing out of the ordinary with this draft.
Well, it's definitely a lot out of the order for Team Freedom. I just don't want to call anything for them right now because it's so curious to me why they wait. I mean, the first phase, alright, Abaddon Zeus, it's okay, but then Emerald and Mirana with what's already with what has already been picked up by Power of Friendship, just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I've seen Mirana's picked up every once in a blue moon in the American scene, but not always with particular success. So that's a pick that may or may not work depending on almost how lucky they get with the arrows, because right now they don't have a setup for it, as we already talked about. But Power Friendship, very well rounded. They have a Juggernaut as a very solid carry. Chen, good early game presence, skanking, rotations, all available at your fingertips. And then later down the line, some early pushes and very good pushing power with the Ancients later as well. Invoker, don't have to talk about him. Vengeful Spirit Slaughter. A lot of minus armor between these heroes to benefit the Invoker and the Juggernaut just with the right clicks too. So
yeah, very straightforward draft.
Very solid, very strong. But Team Freedom, yeah, I can't really think of a hero that would tie them all together.
10 seconds remaining.
It's such an awkward draft. You look at it, it's like, what?
5 seconds
They want to, honestly, I look at the draft, I don't know what they're really hoping to achieve. So final pick Queen of Pain, it's going to be their mid Queen of Pain. So how are they going to lane this?
They can do all sorts of things.
Unless it's off lane, maybe it's off lane Queen of Pain?
Ike's Mike's picking up the Abaddon, so it's gonna be probably offlane Abba.
Okay.
Queen of Pain one position, Ember mid? Question mark? He's not gonna have a fun time against the Invoker though. It could still be
reasonable. He is reasonable versus Invoker.
Really?
He's reasonable.
Just gonna get harassed out though.
He's gonna get harassed out, but the thing is that at least he's gonna be able to sit in lane. He's a little bit more tanky than the Queen of Pain. Like Queen of Pain has to rely on blinks, and obviously with Cold Snap, there's a chance that he just gets stuck in Cold Snap trying to blink out. At least Ember Spirit can absorb some of the damage with the Flame Guard. Like, obviously not the physical damage, but the magical damage coming up from the Invoker. It depends on how Qualifier wants to build on the Invoker as well. If it's going to be Crosswex, or if it's going to be the Exalt build. I kind of feel like he could get away with Quaswex this game. There's a lot of heroes on Freedom that are going to be super reliant on their mana, and if he gets key EMPs off, that could be enough to sort of shut down a lot of those Freedom heroes. But it's up to him how he wants to play it out. So, Exalt Invoker.
Yeah. Well, we'll see whether he just wants to swap it out a little bit, because I also think that the Tornado MP would be devastating this particular lineup. But hey, maybe just wants to play maybe just prefers the Exalt style, and mostly the reason you play Exalt is just to have these Sunstrikes early to kind of win the side lanes as well, right? Like casually win the side lanes on top of the middle lane as an Invoker. It's something that you can do if you have any sort of setup. Like in the bottom lane on the Slaughter, that's a 1.6 second stun even at level 1. Once that gets leveled up a bit, it's even more reliable setup for the Sunstrike, and that can make a huge difference just getting the kill down there. Similar kind of thing if you have Chen rotating in with the lockdown from maybe Troll Creep or Centaur or something like that. Just have that extra long range artillery available to you to make sure that these ganks are actually successful. But yeah, have a little bit of pause as one of these players is out to pee, so let's take a quick look at our lineups. Starting with Power of Friendship, I guess. On the Dire side, we've got Mario playing the Vengeful Spirit, already heading out in territory to place a ward. And in top lane, we've got Sneaking on the Juggernaut, back in base for now, but heading to the mid lane will be Popeye on the Invoker, Way2 on the Chen, as I thought, and NJW on that offlane Slaughter.
So up in the top lane, we've got IX Mike playing out Abaddon this game. The first time I've actually seen Abaddon in a very long time, so I'm sort of looking forward to this. Middle lane, we've got Sunbee handling our Ember Spirit. Still on the base, we've got Kiko on our Zeus, moving in towards that bottom section. Again, we're going to be seeing Fun handling our Mirana, a hero that we very rarely see nowadays. And finally, we've got Mineski Fangay playing on that pain. I touched onto this a tiny bit during the draft phase, but what does Freedom's draft looks like it wants to achieve in your
30
eyes?
seconds to battle.
Just seems to me like a run at you, kill you with our burst, with our mid-game prowess. I mean, if you think about Mirana, if you land the arrow, it's gonna be great. Outside of that, you have the Invis just to set things up. And then you have the Queen of Pain, who ideally has a couple of levels to do the burst damage, and you have the Ember Spirit, who has his levels and can actually dish out a fair amount of magical damage himself.
The battle
And,
begins.
well, speaking of damage, the Zeus too. Oh, got Ike Mike already dropping low, had the Authority Shield popped quite quickly, but they don't have enough damage to actually finish him off, but they will secure the rune for Popeye. But yeah, you have a lot of magic damage and you have the battle to keep people alive. I think that's what they want to do. Just run overpower friendship before they can really make use of their spells. Just overpower them.
The problem though is that there's a certain point when the Abaddon shield doesn't really become too much of a factor when it comes to the damage department, and eventually just becomes more or less a stun purge. And obviously, if you're Freedom, you want to be ahead by that point in the game, so that he's still going to be relevant. So we'll see if they manage to make this Abaddon work out. This core Abaddon. Very rarely seen this offlane Abaddon, but yeah, we'll take a look and see how that works. For the moment, we have Fun, who's arrow farming so far, so it looks like it's going to be a roaming arrow farming Mirana. I've seen this a couple of times actually. Although the games that I saw, it didn't really work out to much success. Like, yeah, the Mirana gets a decent amount of farm herself because she can hit the big creeps, but you don't really want to just be having this jungle Mirana. You want her to also land those arrows and to secure the teams those kills. So if Fun can secure kills and jungle at the same time, then the Mirana is going to be a big success. If he doesn't, then honestly you could say that there could be a lot of other heroes that you could have picked and would have done the exact same thing and probably do it better. So we'll see if he can actually get the arrow that he leaped in. Oh, he gets the arrow to Popeye. Beautiful coordination between Fun and B. This is going to be first blood in the way. Oh, actually, Fairy Fire. I'm going to keep him alive for a tiny bit longer. The creep killed him. Oh no.
Well, to get to kill somebody there. Well, get to kill somebody instead of range creeps. So actually, that's what happens to me every single time when I try to last it. But hey, outside of that, yeah, great rotation here. Top lane, he's dropping very low. So yeah, let's hope what the supports use in the offlane. I mean, obviously, with the Abaddon on the front lines, you don't really want to go on him if you're a melee hero. Then add a Zeus on the backline. It doesn't provide control, but it provides so much damage over time, really, with the Arc Lightning spam that's sneaking, already forced to pop the level 1 healing ward just to keep himself alive.
Yeah,
so...
this is the great thing about having a Juggernaut though. Like, he's one of the only carries in the game that's got decent sustain, so he can sort of get away with this compared to a lot of other safe lane carries.
And yeah, the other lane we haven't talked about yet is this offlane for a power of friendship. We got MJW on the slot, actually getting his levels, which is to be expected, but... Oh, arrow lands! Oh, he sidesteps it, and there's the tango into the crouch. Soundstrike is going enough, not quite. Would have needed 1 or 2 more right clicks, and... It's maybe a little bit of risk play from MJW. I mean, just seeing the arrow fly by, knowing that that's not available anymore.
Yeah.
Could have just gone for 1 or 2 right clicks and almost secured the kill, and would have actually put a real big dent into the Queen of Pain, who is naturally going to win the lane up against a melee hero like Slana, just with the dagger spam. But now at least she's low, only has the bottle back in the stack.
Oh, mid lane, Popeye is dead.
Oh god, no. Again? Is the arrow landing again, or was that just...
I did not see that one, but I assume that they just did the same combo as they did earlier, the chains into arrow combo. But I didn't get to see it, I was watching down bottom as well. Juggernaut gets a kill on the Abaddon. Okay, that should not happen, but I guess it's just because Way 2 is rotating into lane.
That's Way 2 rotation, so it's fair.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming, but hey. This is like classic American Dota, right? Just kills all over the map in very quick succession.
I don't know what classic American Dota is. So
I just told you. I just told you, Darley.
There's a lot of no. The problem is that American Dota, I could honestly say it's probably similar to SEA Dota, where you just see a lot of random things happen. Like, there's no solid meta.
Yeah.
So,
at times that's absolutely true.
so I'm being exposed. Enough?
Oh,
Not really
Sunstrike
safe.
on
Oh,
me!
nah.
Yeah, sidestep it.
Kill it.
That was close.
Yeah.
That was
It
very
wouldn't
close.
have killed him though, would it? It's
It was pretty damn close.
225 damage. I don't think he was actually low enough to get the kill, although we do have the Chen rotation. There's the Internet coming out from the creep, and well, there's a remnant, so no way to kill Sunby, unfortunately.
At least keeping him out of lane for a while gives Invoke a little bit of breathing space that he desperately needs. I mean, compare that to his game, his last game. He had so much momentum early, but this time around he's 0-2-0 so far.
Wow. Did you see the win rate with the Chen and Vengeful Spirit? That is enormous.
I mean,
72!
I knew that Shen had like a ridiculously high win rate. Oh, arrow? MJW, wise up bit. Just sidestepping it. But yeah, with the Vengeful Spirit, even 72%, that seems a little bit too broken, almost.
Yeah, but Venge is such a good support though.
Absolutely.
But
King
for
on
the
top.
moment...
He's being harassed out hard here. He just, oh god, Queen of Pain.
Oh,
This
Sunstrike.
time around it works, yeah. Stun the Sunstrike. This is what I was talking about, right? Just get the Sunstrike for a long range artillery just to help the Q kills. And with that, MJW is getting more farm than you should really in this offlane.
Well, this is a problem though. Like Queen of Pain, she does a lot of burst damage on her own, but she is so fragile as well. So if she gets caught out by the Slardar once,
Radiant's
obviously
bottom
Sunstrike
tower
is going to be a
is under
huge
attack.
contributing factor to her dying. So it just seems that Mineski fan game, for him to be successful this game, he's going to have to try and fall back to a lot of team fights rather than trying to go for
That's
solo
on
kills.
top lane. IX Mike gets locked down with the troll creep here. Follow-up clap is not quite there. Well, the second troll net will be purged off by IX Mike himself. Now Papa Stolzman to try and turn around. At the same time sneaking here, battling up against Kika with the spin, keeping him safe. But a couple of right clicks and spin timing out against the kick. The courier ends up dying. What was he doing there? Well, Waiter will give his own life for it. At the same time, that's a worthy sacrifice almost. As Starter also ends up dying in the bottom lane to Mineski fan engage with the ultimate. Of course, that's the
Huge
big hammer
gold
to
swing.
just equalize there, to just put the equilibrium in the right place here when it comes to hero matchups in this bottom lane. That was a huge influx of gold for freedom all across the map all of a sudden.
Unfortunately, there's no courier, so they're not going to be able to deliver their items for the next 2.5 minutes, which is not that bad, but you know, you'd rather have your items as soon as possible. That you have those extra stats and you know, all the little bits and pieces. But at least the Queen of Pain got something accomplished in the bottom lane, although she's being jumped on here by this Slardar, very close to getting crushed. If she got hit there, then she would have taken a whole bunch of damage, but Fangay looking pretty solid on this Queen of Pain so far. He is CSing above the Slardar, which is some... I'm rather curious with this Queen of Pain. Are we going to be seeing a Aghanim's first Queen of Pain, or does he consider going for that Orchid first? For the added silence. Like, it sounds nice to have the silence, but then again, the Aghanim Scepter is also a valuable tool for the Queen of Pain. It just means he has so much uptime this game with the reduction on that Sonic Wave.
I think you can go either way. If you're worried about Chen creeps, just want to help, have some extra help bursting them down wherever you go. Then you go Aghanim Scepter. Then again, just having the silence up against someone like a Juggernaut or even the Invoker is so super useful to have.
Oh, Sunstrike! Oh,
just
that
a mark.
hurt.
What was he even doing in there?
He was
leaped in there,
ensnared
wasn't
by
he?
the Chen creeps. Ensnared by the Chen creeps, tried to go for a TP in the jungle, got killed.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Viable
What can you do?
Yeah, that
Very
turns
sad
into tier 1
Marina.
tower push here, way to have 3 creeps to play with. Does have the Hand of God to keep them alive too, so... It's gonna be dead tier 1, no one really reacting to try and stop that from happening. Same time, Sunmi heading back to mid
Radiant's
after picking
bottom
up the
tower is
Popeye.
under attack.
He's been shut down quite a bit, but he still has Midas now. Not the best timing, but it will allow him to catch back up
Radiant structures
rather
are
fast.
fortified.
It's rather
Radiant's
unfortunate
Now,
for
actually, it doesn't
freedom.
teleport. 2
Oh.
teleports on the bottom. Sunmi joins the fight. Same for Ike's Mike. They do get the chains. So MJW takes quite a bit of damage here under the sprint. Would have now stop. Double crush.
Oh, that
Follow-up
crush!
stun from Mario. That'll keep them
Wow.
safe for the time being. Fun. Might want to try and angle an arrow. There it is, but it's being
No.
sidestepped. Everyone will make it out alive. At least they do secure the tower, but that's a 4-hero rotation to make that happen, and that means that Sneaking gets much needed space up top and Popeye on the Invoke as well in the middle lane.
Would have been so good if they got that kill on the Slaughter, but god, that timing on the crush. It was obviously it wasn't any, but unless it was, you did see all of the remnants come out.
Yeah.
If it was intentional, then the guy is really good on that Slaughter. But
Well,
I wanted
just one of
to
these
point
things
out a
you
little
do.
bit before. Freedom, oh, arrow onto Popeye. No detection though. He just goes straight into Ghost War. But I just wanted to point out, because we do have a little bit of time now, unless up in the top lane. That's not the top lane, that's the bottom lane. But there's stuff
confuse
happening
me
all
now,
over the
like,
place. I'm sorry, I actually do that a lot. I have no idea how I get top and bottom confused. Jesus.
Don't worry, Reaver
But,
does it the whole time, Jet High time as well.
Oh, great. But I just wanted to point out that if you take a look at Freedom's draft, before the Ember Spirit gets the Battle Fury, their counter push isn't that great. So if Power of Freedom wants to go for a heavy committed push with their entire draft, it's quite difficult for Freedom to go for counter initiation because they don't have the best counter initiation hero. I don't have a Blink Tidehunter, Blink Slaughter. They can have Ajax Mike run into the middle of the fray, which is, you know, that's what Abaddons do. But it doesn't solve their initiation problem. He just doesn't provide them a disable to start the fights off unless they can get maybe a decent timing on the arrow.
Alright. Look, I keep the arrow counter. Also forgot that you do that, but hey. 4 out of 7 so far. There's a Zuzul coming in to bring down the Slaughter in the bottom lane. And that's ENG. Set it up with the ultimate. That's something that you would expect to happen every single time Queen of Pain has that. Once you see the sprint come out, you're gonna do even more damage with the Sonic Wave, and now that you have that Zeus ultimate available too, to back you up, it's gonna be a kill every single time. Not a whole lot that Slaughter can do about it.
And I like how Manesi Fangay is more or less focusing down the Slaughter because it's slowing down the timing on that Blink Dagger. And obviously when the Blink Dagger comes out for Power of Friendship, they're going to be much more at ease when it comes to trying to go for T because they have their source of initiation. Like, Freedom can sort of counter-initiate, but it's not the best in the world. So once that Blink Dagger does come online for Power of Friendship, I do expect them to play hyper-aggressive with their draft. But we have a smoke moving in towards the bottom lane. We have a line drawn out. They want to kill off this Queen of Pain. But to get that to work, they have to get a disable to land onto her first. She sees the Chen creeps, and unfortunately the stun does land. Crushes there. Beautiful play. Power of Friendship. Good coordination.
Team on top lane and now sneaking the Ajax Mike. Just like what happened the entire game already. Just these two heroes battling up against each other and now sneaking on the run. Ajax Mike is pretty damn fast. We're 2 points up from the curse, but well, not gonna get there in time to, or not gonna be able to chase far enough to actually bring down Juggernaut, who's of course quite a sturdy hero with the spin TP out now as Sunbeam comes in too. So yeah, it looks like a tier 1 for tier 2 child trade is in the making here as the creeps are pushing in down the bottom. Way 2 with a full complement, MGW and Mario as well as the Invoker, who is able to add some Forge Spirits whenever you want it. So Chico is coming in to try and support, try and get this, stop this push. Ajax Mike with the TP will do the trick. Honestly, I think they could have fought there, I guess, if they wanted.
I think they just want to play safe. They're so close to getting the blink on the Slaughter that obviously if you die there it would have been a massive loss for MJW. So play it safe, finish up the blink, and then I think once that's done, then you're going to see Power of Friendship really push, put their foot down and try and go for those tower pushes. Because obviously if you can get Agent Flux and Gold, it's going to help out Snake King considering that he hasn't really had the best time in lane as the Jug, just because you have Ajax Mike here consistently harassing him out of lane. So obviously Gold going to the whole team of Power of Friendship means that they're going to get their items a little bit quicker. I'm rather curious, so is it going to be the Sanjin Yasha Juggernaut? It looks like it's going to be a Battle Fury because he picks up the Void Stone, but Manesi Fangay wants to go for kill onto Snake King.
Still the ultimate available, very late. He ends up surviving for the time being, but Sunbeam there at the right time. Kiko actually snacks the kill away from him.
Heavy commitment though.
Almost failed though. I mean, if that Sonic Wave didn't connect, that was just half a second later, then they wouldn't have had the damage to actually bring him down after the spin ended.
Dire's
Yeah.
structures
Heavy
are
commitment though,
fortified.
they do get the jug kill, but we now have to consider, look at Power of Friendship. Because all of those major ultimates were used, they're now going to go and take the Roche.
Dire's
And without all those
tower
ultimates,
is
Power of Freedom don't have the best Roche draft, or at least team to fight in the Roche pit. And it's happening so quickly as well, just because you have the starter with the amplified damage. So Roche is down, easy Aegis. It's going to be picked up on the Invoker. Does Power of Friendship decide to play aggressive? Blink is ready.
Well, Freedom playing very aggressive here to find Mario. The arrow will land on MGW as he blinks in, but he's still got the crush off on the zombie. He's now being chain locked down. Trying to guess the rep them down. Will barely be able to do so, but some strike! It will be shared amongst everyone. A nice little play there from Freedom, recognizing that that could be an issue. So they do get the tower. They don't lose a hero.
Dire's top tower
Could have
is
turned
under
out
attack.
much worse there. POF would have been a little bit quicker perhaps, rotating in, but of course up against the Emberspurt at this point in the game where he has his levels for kind of max level Serum Chains and Flame Guard. This is the point where you have to be careful not to get caught out. You have to make sure that you have that magic damage available to burst through the Flame Guard, or else that'll just burn you through instead.
Yep. So 15 minutes in, I'm taking a look at all of the hero's items so far. So we've got the Queen of Pain en route to that Aghanim Scepter, so it does seem that he's going for the damage route. We have the Boot That Travels build on our Ember Spirit as well, so he will have that global map presence for that Ember Spirit to be there for the fight, as well as be able to farm the entire map. But I'm going to hold my thoughts here first, as you have a smoke coming out from Freedom. They're trying to look for some heroes. There are 2 targets down the bottom lane, but Snaking, obviously the one going to be showing himself. But the Venge going to be the first one to be caught out. So the Chains is there, Stun is there, Mineski just blinks on top of him. Now Snaking's just sort of thinking, where the hell do I run? But he's got backup coming in. So Slaughter's got the crush at the ready. There's the counter initiation.
Oh! From having Zombie has to try and get out. He's pretty damn fast, thankfully. So there's the Omnislash Capillo. Kiko attacks most of that. The last bounce will go back to him. Nice and stuck with absolutely everyone. And that's the chant going down. The Screeps is still there, but now momentum swings back in the other direction as they don't have that heal available. Punk comes in, he takes one of the creeps out with the arrow. Now Moonlight Shadow to give them the extra covering fire. Sneaking, trying to do what he can, just can't quite get enough damage out of everyone to bring people down. Nice little deny there on the Slaughter as there was the Shadow Poison Dagger on him. And now, well, there's a sentry here. Sneaking knows what's up. They know that POF is still here, that Freedom is still here to try and pin them up. And I know how Mario's still alive, but he will now finally end up dying. Sneaking with another spin, but once again, they're doing a pretty good job kiting it down. And yeah, Zombie out of mana, so you can't really do the damage that they need, or the lockdown even with the Serum Chains anymore. So this is where the fight ends. It was a really good one for Team Freedom here. Just, I mean, it started with the smoke gank here, even across this dire side observer ward, giving them a false sense of security, and then POF engaging into that. I mean, they could have just cut the losses and spinned out on Juggernaut, but instead they try to go for the fight. Didn't quite find the right angle with that beautiful Sonic Wave just turning things around.
God, that was such a messed up team fight down towards the bottom lane. Did the Aegis get used? No. So the Invoker didn't even die. So considering that the Aegis is still in the hands of POF, they honestly can make another aggressive play happen very shortly. Like, if you have the Aegis, use it. It's an asset to use. And obviously Freedom gonna be a little bit hesitant. Like, if they were able to burn the Aegis down that bottom lane, then that would have been a much better trade for them. But, you know, still get kills. It's not that bad. Whereas for Power of Friendship, yeah, didn't have the best fight in that bottom lane. I was going to say something, but I miraculously forgot. I will remind you once I remember what I was going to say. I feel like it was very relevant, but it's just disappeared.
The story of my life. I always feel like I have to say I can say something relevant, but then I don't.
Wait, I forget. It's just gone. Fine. You always remember the useless
for me it's just
stuff.
an excuse, but hey.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit different, but hey. Yeah, Focus of Farming has the Blink Dragon on top of that, so he has recovered. He's actually at the top of the net worth chart, which is kind of great for him. At the same time though, Zombie is pretty damn close, and that's an Ember Spirit with Boots of Travel, of course, that what you would expect, right? This is the very efficient farming build. We just keep a remnant back at base, teleport to a lane, farm it out, or just vice versa, right? Just put a remnant to the lane, TP back to base, heal up,
Radiant's top tower
just
is
keep
under
spamming his
attack.
spells.
Dire structures are
So
fortified.
we have the Forge Spirits are going to try and come in for a tower, and I gets it!
Oh wow.
Yes, he did. Never mind, he did get it. I can't read. My glasses are faulty. Never mind. The Invoker did get
Meanwhile,
the
top lane.
deny.
Oh, sneaky.
Oh, dear.
Nothing to stop it though. Nothing to stop the
Yeah.
3B, so. Nice little trade there. Do get the deny and the tower kill on the side of POF, so they're unfazed.
Ags is done.
They lost a team fight, but they don't care. They just say, alright, we just keep playing how we want to.
There
Just keep
was a
denying
chance that the
towers.
Venge was going to drop in the mid lane, but he TP'd out in time. They were going to commit the Sonic Wave, but yeah, it wasn't enough damage to completely kill off the Venge, so just cost-efficient use of the mana coming out from Mineski Fango. He now wants to kill Snaking in the mid lane, who's not looking that healthy, but they need someone to sort of chip him down, so Thundergod's Wrath can be thrown out as well, just to scout out heroes, but also to drop Snaking down that little bit more. Now, for the moment, Mineski is hitting for 440 pure damage, so oh, that's the ideal timing. The spin's gonna run out, there will be the Healing Warden. No, looks like Mineski doesn't want to commit. It's a little bit scared of the Vengeful Spirit.
At the same time, space created in the bottom lane, the tier 2 is taking quite a punishment here with Junk Creeps as well, supported by blocking away there, and Freedom in no position to really fight this, but now they still try. At least they will take care of the creeps here with that Sonic Wave. Also with the Aghanim Scepter ready to go. It's not a big commitment, but still. At least he doesn't have a lot of mana to play with now, being controlled up. Can he ram that out in time? Yes, he can.
Radiant's middle
Did
tower
take like
is
some
under attack.
just short.
Dire's structures
Would have
are
killed him.
fortified.
That's he had like 500
Huge.
health
Radiant's middle
points.
tower has fallen.
I don't know.
Dire's
Wait.
top tower is
We've
under
survived
attack.
like 25 health points, I believe.
Yeah. There was a bit of a push happening in the top lane by IX Mike, but obviously Snaking TPing into the top lane, not really going to be doing that much. But as the game has progressed, we've had the first pick of Batten coming out from Freedom, and it's done a little bit this game, but I haven't really seen the positives of this Abaddon pick as of yet. Do you think the game so far has warranted the Abaddon pick? Is the item that he's building going to help?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, he's building into that kind of run into the teamfight role, as we were talking
Oh,
about.
look at
But,
Snaking.
I mean, he's putting a lot of pressure on Snaking every single time, and if you're Juggernaut, you can't actually fight him, because even if you're Omnislash, if he's isolated, he's just gonna pop his ultimate, and you're gonna have wasted ultimate. So, what do you do up against him? So it's pretty much free farm wherever he goes, especially with the Invoker not going for the Quas Vex build with Mana Burn to make it a little bit harder for him. But I don't know, unless they can really leverage that for tower pushes as they're trying to right now, it's not really doing too much.
So this tower should be dropping. Looks like Power of Friendship isn't really in the vicinity to defend that T2. We're gonna give that away. For the moment, we have an invisibility rune picked up by MJW. Now there are 3 heroes coming in towards that mid lane, so they could try and come in for a wraparound if they really wanted to. What can be put down by the Mirana, so they will see some incoming hero movements if they're not under the cover of that invisibility rune. So
Try to come in now.
Moonlight
Speaking
Shadow.
of Invis, there's some from Team Freedom now with the Moonlight Shadow here. They get stunned with the stun. You have detection on them. They have a dust on Slot if he wants to pop it, but it would also reveal him. Oh, he almost eats the arrow. Forces Sprint out of the way, actually. They'll be revealing him. Power Friendship now. See what's going on as the Moonlight Shadow ends. Yeah, it looks like they will just Freedom will just take what they could get. Words are hard. Which is about half damage on this tier 3 tower. Which is good
great
considering.
though. They lost absolutely nothing for that, so it was technically free damage for Freedom. Even though they used a Moonlight Shadow, like that's no big deal. MJW is going to be running into 2 heroes. IX Mike is one of them, and if you're a Slaughter, obviously that's not the hero that you want to run into. Have crush in the sprint. And Arrow will hit creeps, so pretty fun. He gets a consolation prize for trying to throw that arrow out onto MJW. But this is a problem. If you run into an Abaddon, like there's no way you're killing that hero.
Yeah.
I suppose like the only time
Oh, it does have room there, okay.
the only time I could ever see IX Mike dying is if there was that full Sunstrike just hitting him at the right timing before he's able to hit the 400 threshold. Like, obviously,
yeah.
Mike has been throwing it preemptively, but if he's just completely stunned up and you can get the Sunstrike, then that's great. Snaking going to be running into Mike, and he wants to man fight. I don't know if you want to man fight in the Baton.
No,
I think he regrets his decision now.
Squad here. Yeah, Therefore comes out, but there's a lot of magic damage coming out. Yeah, not quite enough. The Jenny heal has to be committed too. Just keep him safe on top of that healing ward heal, but now that's done on the Ice Mike, chasing that quite a bit. Now the slow from way 2. MGW gets in range for a crush, so we'll be able to pop the ultimate right now. And yeah, he's all alone. No one's there to try and help.
At the roast pit though. Oh, Popeye almost died. And actually, he might.
Oh,
no,
wow.
he won't tick out to the poison dagger. It's fine. Unless
Somebody
Sunby finds him.
What if he's...
Can he guess? Does he guess? Does he just go for chains?
They could have just flame guarded and probably ticked him out. I mean, he had the right right trajectory.
It's unfortunate. Would have been a very good
Yeah,
kill
well,
if they got that Invoker.
Yeah, with that POF will know that Roshan's up. And they can take this pretty damn fast with Metro Spirit with the minus arm as well as the stun to trigger the Lincolns. And then the amplified damage on level 2, so this won't take long at all.
Those easy Aegis. Does POF try and go for those final 2 towers? The final T2's mid one as well as that top T2. Unless they're waiting for items. But looking at their inventory, there's no major items that they're waiting on, so I'm sort of expecting a push from them now.
There's a meta style recipe on sneaking, so that's about 1,000 gold away for the ultimate orb. Maybe don't want to wait at that, but it's outside. Maybe the axe from Chen also about 1,000 gold away, but don't necessarily need those items for the tier 2s. I'm just trying to take advantage of that right now.
Be a little bit too long though if they wait for the 1k gold on way 2. But as the game is going, we take a look at Freedom. We've spoken a little bit about POF, but Freedom in the meantime, they've drafted a quirky draft. It's worked to a certain degree. It hasn't completely worked out, but what's the saving grace here for Freedom? Is it mostly going to be in this Ember Spirit as the game progresses later and later? Because Ember Spirit is a great hero when it comes to high ground defense.
Absolutely. So Ember Spirit for me easily one of the top 3 late game heroes, hands down. Because if he gets 6 slotted with like a Battle Fury, 2 Daedalus, maybe Lincolns or BKB just to keep him safe, and then he just stays in the back, and yeah, you just slide a fist you down. And considering what else you have in Team Freedom, they don't have the best high ground defense in terms of just being able to spam out waves, apart from the Queen of Pain. But they also have the Abaddon to kind of be in the front line without much risk. So that can kind of do the job of just screening for the Ember Spirit even in these later parts of the game and give them the space it needs to actually go for these count plays. Just slide a fist from the backlines until POF kind of have to go back to race. It makes it very hard to actually push into Freedom at that point.
I was just sort of looking at RX Mike through the tree line.
Oh, find way too here, and as a mechanism, arrow comes in, MGW. Oh wow, they would both sidestep it here. Now, Bullet Shadow comes out, they still see somebody with the amplified damage as well as the dust coming out. There's a Sunstrike. Will not hit him. As he just comes back from slight distance, they should still be able to strike him down. And they just commit. No, not the Remnant comes out. He's still alive, and now the turn on MGW already dead. Nice tornado, and a blink out of the way of the arrow. So they're hanging on by the teeth, but Mario, he's not exactly the fastest. Somebody coming in with another Remnant. They will find another chains on the way to. That's another death, but Omni Slash comes out. That is the Queen of Pain going down in return. But at what cost? They lose 3 heroes. Now the tier 3 is once again in peril. Snaking is gonna have to do some much more work, but Ike's Mike, he still has his ultimate. Sunby, well, I guess that's a saving grace. He doesn't have a lot of mana or Remnants to play with.
It would have been ideal if Freedom was going to force a buyback out of both of the Slardar as well as the Vengeful Spirit, but they don't have all of their heroes there for a definitive high ground push there, and it would have been very scary if they got caught out. So it just seems like Freedom wanting to play safe, even though a couple of heroes are dead, just play it out safe. Just get Sunby, get those major items, get the Daedalus after Battle Fury, and then consider going high ground. Even then though, like, Freedom's high ground push isn't the best. The only hero that you probably want to throw up there to do damage to the tower is probably going to be IX Mike on the Abaddon. Outside of that, everyone else is going to have to sit behind him. even the Ember Spirit, like, even though you have an Abaddon who can be there with the heals as well as the shield, that is not enough if he gets focused down. Like, that's a scary thing for the Ember Spirit. There is still going to be a lot of burst. Oh, goodness. Kiki.
He had this too earlier. I think he might have seen MJW and Qualifier, but apparently not.
Yeah.
Means he could have. He almost thought it was galloping around the jungle. Quite, I don't think. But hey, easy creep pickup. Middle lane at the same time. There's a mechanism just to try and keep the creeps alive, and Minesk Fang almost able to burst them all down. So we're just gonna have to send them back to base or commit an ultimate once it's off cooldown again.
Yeah, just sending them back to base. They are the ultimate for a team fight. We've seen a couple of times where the Hand of God has bought their team enough time to bring in the reinforcements. Like, that's just how valuable the Hand of God is for POF. So just keep it there. Fine. But we have Snaking farming the enemy jungle. He has been spotted though, but looks like Freedom not going to really be doing too much about this. They only have the Ember Spirit in the bottom lane to push out the creep wave. He's not going to be bothered to deal with the Ember Spirit at all. Meanwhile, the rest of his team is sort of spread out. I'm rather surprised that Freedom has decided to spread out as a team and just keep farming this game. Is there any reason as to why they're sort of delaying the game as they are?
Well, I think they're just worried about running into a bad situation when they're just getting blown up by the magical burst, which is still quite pronounced 30 minutes into the game. Especially with considering that Kiko has been able to build into that Veil of Discord plus the Ether Lens fairly early. So Freedom still have that burst potential to a point where the Hand of God might not even be enough or even in time. So I think that's what POF are worried about and want to... Oh, there's the ultimate going. Do that control, they have a swap back. Follow-up stun, just to keep him there, but there's a TP coming in from the Ember Spirit. That will be denied though now. A couple of blinks here, they do get another dust. Legend Shadow, not gonna help them thanks to it. Ice might going down. Dominating spree for the Invoker.
If the Ember Spirit came in, the Abaddon?
The Invoker. He has 3k gold right now. Already has the blink, the axe, top of the boots of trouble.
He honestly could pick up a Necro book here. It would help out with their push so much.
A little bit later. I feel like you want to sacrifice something like that up against the Ember Spirit. He is building into the... actually he has an open Venom, so it could be a Skadi instead of a Lincoln's. So that sacrifice, if you wanted to go for it, would actually do a lot of work up against them.
To him though, if he wants to go for that first. We'll see. He might just be mind gaming us, thinking, hey, I might pick up Skadi, then he changes his mind halfway.
Yeah.
Who knows? It happens.
All the Venom's not exactly an inexpensive item to just sell again.
No. Yeah, super cheap. But looks like Roche is going to... We'll get the definitive respawn timer in about 1:30. So we'll just have to wait till that comes up. Looks like for now we've got Snaking moving in towards the bottom lane. He sees Mineski. Don't really be doing too much. He's just going to stand there for a little bit, wait for Mineski to blink out and back into that lane. This Observer that has spotted out Mario, so they do know that the Vengeful Spirit is in their jungle. And Freedom... They're not too happy about their jungle. They're going to just stay right near their T1s while letting the Ember Spirit farming up top lane. Looks like both teams are just sort of trying to avoid each other at this point. Just tag, not wanting to be spotted out by anybody.
Snaking though,
Except Snaking. Oh,
he eats the arrow to the face! Oh no, he will be just bursted down.
Well, I was
just about to bring up that. Alright, Snaking, what is he doing? I mean, he's farming very aggressively. Doesn't really give a care. Because they don't really have good ways of dealing with them, actually. Because the the pure damage from the Queen of Pain, that would be the burst enough to bring him down, perhaps, with a couple of right clicks from some extra heroes. It's not gonna be enough anymore, as he has been taking up a little bit further just on the back of levels. He's level 19, right? So he has plenty of health points to deal with, so he can just spin TP out. But obviously, if he doesn't spin, he needs an arrow to the face, which is as close to 5 seconds as you could get. It's not gonna do the trick, and this is the opening for Freedom to just once again push down his top lane and try and get this tier 3 down once and for all.
Still high ground there, and we have to remember. Though, the Juggernaut wasn't the factor that was making Freedom feel worried.
Get the setback, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
That was cute. They delayed him a little bit, new creep back coming in. Yeah, without Juggernaut out, they don't really want to come in, it doesn't have buybacks, so... They're gonna have to wait a full extra 10 seconds, another blink crush. The tower is still not dead yet. This is a victory for POF in its own right. The arrow will land, but it's on the high ground in Juggernaut's back. You don't want to commit into that at this point.
Looks like Freedom's just chipping. Yeah, Freedom's just chipping at their tower. They are playing ultra safe. They are not overextending for these T3 towers, and rightly so. Like, for them to be able to get away with this, not to have any casualties, it's such a big victory for Freedom, because they're essentially taking objectives. Whereas you look at POF, they haven't taken any of the T3 towers. They haven't even done any significant damage to it. So if POF win a massive team fight...
Look at this, a smoke gap from POF. Roshan's not quite back up yet, but Freedom maybe thought that it was. They're moving into the general area. But of course, IX and Mike leading the charge. It's not exactly the easiest hero to kill. POF with the Gambit, trying to secure the general area once again on the back of the smoke just before Roche responds. Not exactly working out. They have to retreat and almost concede this area to Freedom now. Thing is, they do have Zeus all the way in the middle lane, who doesn't have his ultimate for another 40 seconds, but at the same time, looks like POF are retreating fully. So Freedom can pick up on the timeout, and Roche can actually take it. Do they have enough damage?
They have a medallion on the Mirana, so they'll take it at a reasonable timing. Even IX Mike is hitting relatively hard from the baton, so yeah, I think they can take it pretty well.
Gonna take the tier 2 first instead, so once again taking a little bit of extra map control, equalizing the tower distribution.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
It's actually a bit of a scary thing here for POF, because Sunby has finished up with IF Skadi. He is actually relatively tanky, and if you take a look at POF's draft, they don't have the best burst in dealing with the Ember Spirit. So Sunby's actually going to be a huge factor in these upcoming team fights. And Radiant's Courier drops. I did not get to see how that happened, but all the crushes there onto Mike. We've got Sunby here with his teammates. They'll be slowing down MJW by quite a bit. It looks like Mike just wants to finish up the Force Spirits rather than Heroes. Easy gold.
This is where it will be decided which team has the momentum going high ground right now, because if POF lose, they're gonna lose quite a bit. At the same time, the top lane is pushing in, so Sunby will have to make it back, but he should have a remnant somewhere. Yeah, there it is. So he can come back into the fray, which makes it not easy for POF to go for this kind of team fight, but you just have to find the right angle. Have the Invoker blinking in straight into the road pit. Did they want to snag it right on the Team Freedom's nose? Might be able to do it actually with the creeps kind of occupying IX Mike. Now the Mind's Armor's there.
It so quickly. Oh, Freedom.
Just snagging him. They get the stun from Sunby here. Can they bring him down? Does he doesn't run it up, but can't get it. He can't get it just at the nick of time after the slide of fist, and now MJW dies in return. Yeah, another slide of fist back. There's a lot of work on way too easy on Mario. Drop very low, way too able to TP out. The cage is already being triggered on the Invoker. Where's the damage coming from? Snaking, he has to come in, try and make something happen. For now, there's only Popeye who's trying to find the openings. And yeah, Vanessa Pancake Snaking finally finds one. There's a Hex coming out on the Juggernaut now. Perhaps a turn or at least enough space for another blink out. So they lose 2 heroes plus the Aegis and don't get anything off this very drawn out fights. Oh, I guess the fight that was very far apart from each other. POF just didn't seem like they had a plan going into this.
And unfortunately for POF as well, that was the 10-second BKB charge popped by Popeye. He didn't even get the kill onto the Vengeful Spirit, so not only is it an Aegis, but it's also the 10-second BKB charge as well, and it's down for 42 seconds. So this is honestly a huge opening for Freedom to make something happen in this mid lane, it seems. They're going to take the T2 at least. Do they do high ground? It is so risky. Like, there's no Aegis on POF, but it's still high ground. And they're going to make the right play. They're going to back up and they're going to wait to have that opening again. They'd rather push bottom. Like, since this tower, and sorry, not bottom, push top. The top tower is already close to dropping. So if they win a team fight, if they get a couple of kills, push that top lane, and then all of a sudden there's Raxes that are exposed.
Yep. Let's take a look at the graphs here now, 38 minutes in, and oh god, this graph. Look at the gold graph. Can you explain this to me? Outside of, just hashtag NA Dota.
Hashtag NA.
There's never been more anything more than a 2.5k advantage
Ike's
for either team
Mike.
in this game. Now Ike's Mike, well, he's all alone. There's help on the way, but will come there in time. TP in from Emersford actually on the top. Yeah, the Patriots can't bring it down. Now the turnaround with the failed discard, with the burst on sneaking. He's the first one to fall. Sunbeam not touch at all. MJW caught with the Sonic Wave, just clean him house. 3 heroes down just like that, just because they had to commit on an IX Mike Abaddon, who is impossible to kill quickly. And now they even tracked down Ventral's Bird on the side. 4-for-nothing trade, and well, with that, maybe the gold grab will actually, yeah. Never mind. With that, the gold grab exceeds the 5k, the 5k line, and that
This
should
is such a
definitely be
good
tier 3
place.
going down. Yeah,
Such a good place for Freedom to have the fight. Oh my goodness.
They have to commit buybacks if they want to hold this. They're gonna lose the range racks at least. Oh, plus the melee racks by the looks of it. Yeah, just let this go, but at the same time, bottom lane is also pushing in its own merit. It's gonna switch straight to the middle lane, tier 3 tower.
POF the heroes. Oh, the BKB popped on Popeye. Very early use of the BKB. He was probably afraid of getting chain stuck. Oh, this game just gone
you're
downhill.
absolutely right. They can't do anything against Sunday right now. They
Without
have an
Asana,
only
there's no
slash, but it's not gonna do
initiation.
anything. There's a stun that will even be dodged with a Remnant jump. Now, Bullet Shadow comes out. They just can't chase, and now perhaps turn off. This is hacks just to make sure that sneaking can't really pull any shenanigans, even if they had detection. So they do get 2 sets of racks and a clean getaway. What more do you want for Team Freedom?
So a power of friendship, they are struggling. And now as the game's progressing later, like they ran into the Abaddon, and Mike just bought himself so much time that they got almost a team wipe onto POF. Like that's not a situation that you want to be in if you're a POF. Because at this point they want to get any kills that they can. Just any amount of gold income, any heroes, like anything. And they're so desperate for it as well. And if you're gonna jump on an Abaddon this late for it too, like you have to completely commit if you want to kill off that hero, just because he's able to buy so much time. But looks like Freedom will be the aggressors with the smoke. Let's see if they're gonna be successful with it.
They see where everyone is with the Zeus ultimate. They're gonna have to commit all the way into the base of POF.
Popeye.
But Popeye walks down, he dies immediately, and I've got not enough to save him. Now Waiter dropping so low to all the bullshit that's being thrown his way. Sneaking as well, look at this, yes, needs some cheese just to stay alive. Pops the effort now, nice little crush there. Drum start on the back, but they just don't have the damage. Look at this! Sneaking, bursted down. Mario can't even get close. Meatball is there. Nice little combo there from Popeye, but just too little too late. GG, well played is callers. Round this thing out with a team wipe. Wow, this is Freedom with the run at you strat working out. Able to stay alive and keep the game going long enough. Farm up in the Ember. Farm up on the Abaddon as well. Just making sure that he's always on the front lines, not really giving a damn, not really being able to be brought down.
I think a lot of that game came down to the fact that both of these teams